quick word about the state of our economy.
If you think things have been bad lately, a double-dip recession is very real. Record deficits, near double-digit unemployment.
It obviously is sort of common sense to think that we're not going to be building as many homes.
We are making progress.
The job losses still continue and continue and continue.
Yes, but it's not 12 or 13 or 15. In that sense, it works.
1 in 7 Americans living in poverty.
That inspiration's dying.
I've been a little amused over the last couple of days where people have been having these rallies about taxes. You would think they would be saying thank you.
We're very proud of what we've done.
Who is in charge?
Who's in charge here?
We are mortgaging the future of our children and grandchildren at record rates, and that is not only an issue of fiscal irresponsibility.
I say we move forward.
It's an issue of immorality.
Is the American dream dead?
I don't want to give them the keys back.
I have done a terrific job.
Good day and happy election week to you. My name is Joel Aaron, sitting with one of the young guns of Georgia, Jason Shepard, who's running for the state house. And we're glad to have you on for the last couple of days before the election. And I am wearing said Get Out the Vote Georgia voter sticker because I did early voting this week. The reason I am wearing this is so that I can both point out the fact that you're a hypocrite, if you haven't, and that I can be self-righteous for the next 10 minutes of my life. So, let this remind you.
Self-righteous media.
Self-righteous media. I mean, it goes hand in hand. So, this is me telling you to get out the vote. It's your civic duty, or just drop dead and quit naming names. Okay, so now that I've said that, and that's my passionate appeal to civic engagement. We got to bring this up, Jason, because they've got a big rally this weekend. Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart are restoring sanity in one case and then keeping fear alive. In the other. They're on the National Mall. They're going to have this rally, which is going to be great because it's going to distract a lot of the progressive crowd in universities around North America. It's great entertainment. It's cheap, and it keeps them away from making phone calls for their progressive friends trying to get back in Congress. But the thing they're running into right now is that the Marines are having a marathon the day after the rallies on the National Mall, and they've gobbled up all the porta potties in the District of Columbia. And so now the rally does not have enough porta potties to make Capitol Police and the National Mall folks happy. And so they're saying, "Can we borrow them?" And the Marines are saying, "Buzz off. We're going to lock them down until our event the day after. Even though they're sitting there, we're not sharing. We're taking our toys and going home." I mean, they're going to be in deep before it's all over, metaphorically and literally. I think before this is said and done. So there will be a lot of people crapping their pants this weekend.
Well, Congress is on recess, and with what's been taken out of Congress, they could just put it back in.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. They need the extra. They've needed the extra porta potties in the District of Columbia for a long time. It's been deep. It's been really deep.
But Nancy Pelosi's office.
Can you blame the Marines though for doing this?
No, absolutely not.
Especially given the theme going on here on Saturday.
Well, not knowing too many of the details, how much did Colbert and Stewart offer to pay part of the price? And plus you have two individuals who've been knocking the U.S. military for a fairly long time and running them to the ground. I would say, forget it too.
Well, Colbert would say he flew in a jet plane, so he's legit, and he went over and visited the troops. But the thing is, I mean, now,
and realistically, Colbert's show tends to lean a little bit more to the right, humorously. But
if I'm deployed right now and I lived in the state of Illinois and I'm missing my absentee ballots because somebody forgot,
or New York.
Yeah, that's got to rub everybody a little bit raw. If I'm in the military right now, I would want to give somebody the finger too. But that may just be me.
How can you sit there and say that you're protecting the rights and freedoms of Americans back home, but you're being denied those freedoms and those rights by serving overseas? It's ridiculous.
It's a complete logical disconnect. I mean, the folks that deserve the privileges the most and would appreciate them the most because they know what they're worth, the value of the vote, are being left out to put out to pasture in this case. So that was 2 weeks ago, but that still got me hacked off. Now, the message on the campaign trail has changed for Barack Obama. who apparently hasn't read the tea leaves that nobody's really a big fan of him right now, and yet he's still going around. But the message, he was in Portland, Oregon, back in 2008, on the river there, and he had that whole speech about how we needed to have hope and we needed to have change, and he was the change. Now he's a fear-monger in chief. Everything's changed. Where's the hope?
Well, exactly. Where is the hope? You got 10% unemployment. Where's the hope? You got foreclosures still on the rise. Where's the hope?
Well, what's the strategy? I mean, is this strategy really working? Because it kind of begs a question he doesn't really want to answer.
Well, the president, it doesn't matter who the president is, whether it's Barack Obama, George W. Bush, H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan. The president, one of the many hats he always wears is campaigner-in-chief. I think what's most telling is where he's going to campaign. He's not going to campaign in those swing states. Crucial states, swing states they won in 2008, like Florida. You don't see him making trip after trip after trip to Florida. He's made one or two, and then he sends Biden down or he sends his wife down. Where he's going are the bluest of the blue states. He's going to New York. He's going to Connecticut. He's going to Oregon. He's going to California. It's now not about trying to reach out and bring in independence with more rhetoric of hope and change, which, quite frankly, after 2 years, it's getting harder and harder to blame George Bush. What he's doing is he's trying to set a firewall and saying, this is the line in the sand. We are going to make our stand here, and we're not going to let the enemy, who has to ride in the back seat, advance any further.
Yeah. Well, and I love, there's just so much, hedonism going on here right now. He's the one who's saying, if once Republicans get in, if they don't come around and be a little more moderate and able to work with us, they're still going to have to sit on the back seat. He said that last week. And, maybe he's missing reading the tea leaves that 90% of Republicans disapprove of his job. 70% of independents and 35% of Democrats.
Right.
So,
well, that also means you flip it the other way. That 65% of Democrats are very happy with the job he's doing. But you think about the back seat.
We're out to lunch.
You turn. I rode in the back seat. You probably rode in the back seat, especially family road trips. The only time that people in the front seat turned around to the back seat was to say, shut up, I'm turning this car around, or stop touching your brother, or whatever. It's never anything good. You cannot work with someone front seat to back seat. You can only, if you want to talk to someone on equal level, it needs to be like this, both sides in front seat, even if Barack Obama is technically doing the driving.
Well, and he's still saying, and he's using this familiar refrain now. I think it's 17 times that he's called out Americans for Prosperity as an organization. We don't know who's funding them. It could be big corporate interests. We never really know. And that's becoming quite humorous because you really never know what you don't know.
Right.
Until it's too late. And so I guess you walk around with fear and loathing all the time. You have that luxury, given the realities of how things are.
And when you go to campaign for Harry Reid, you got fear and loathing in Las Vegas. So
yeah, exactly. It's portable fear, folks. Exactly. We can take the fear on the road. So and that's exactly what they're doing, is taking the fear on the road. But do you think it's going to? Is it going to come back to haunt them next week? It's hard to make predictions, but
it is hard to make predictions. I think the more he's out there, kind of like when he mentions and attacks Americans for Prosperity, Americans for Prosperity get $500,000 and $5 contribution.
We've christened him as our director of development over there.
Exactly, and
do some work with him.
The more he's out there, the more he's going to remind people exactly why they're angry at the Democrat Party more than they're angry at the Republican Party. Because this is not an issue about people all of a sudden love the Republican Party again and or more, or whatever. It's that the Republican Party, at least, is not the Democrat Party.
Yeah. So tune in tomorrow, and we will have Jason tell you why. Jason. We'll see you tomorrow on The Hub.